Well, what's going on, folks? Happy Friday. It's good that the weekend's here, right? How's everyone doing? We're doing good. Hope everyone is, enjoying their weekend or the start to the weekend. And yeah, that's it, right? Have a good night. Look, man, appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, shout out to the support. Shout out to the members in here. Your New York Knicks lose to, I don't even want to say this, 118 to 80. It's just not our night, man. Look, let's start here. The Detroit Pistons are really good, right? They're really good, folks. I've been telling y'all this for a while. Like, if you're looking at the East and asking who's actually in the way, it's them. The Pistons play angry. They're suffocating. Every cut is hard. They've kicked our ass now twice this year. Twice. You could tell that their playoff exit last year, it still bothers them, right? They had Jalen Brunson just in jail tonight, uncomfortable. Brunson couldn't even breathe out there tonight. And it sucks because this was one of the weekends where I had circled. You know what I mean? Like, the regular season is long, man. Like, 82 games. It's a long regular season. And look, the next 8-game winning streak comes to an end. They weren't going to win them all, excuse me. Newsflash. But there aren't many you generally look forward to, right? But considering that the New York Knicks were playing inspired basketball, they were playing, the momentum was rolling. They just made the Alvarado trade. Granted, no Anunoby, no Karl Anthony Towns. Right before the tip, you hear that news, and then it's like, whether you want to admit it or not, it just sucked the emotion right out of this one. It sucked the emotion right out of this game. Now, I'm not panicking, but here's my only real concern, right? The teams behind you are playing really well, too. Boston won tonight. They came back after being down, I think, by 20 as well. And they came back and won tonight. So they've now jumped ahead of you in the standings. They are now number 2 in the Eastern Conference. You are now number 3, and you play them on Sunday. So if you lose to them on Sunday, suddenly that's 2 full games back of Boston. And now we're talking about something that does matter. Home court advantage. By the loss tonight, you lose the tiebreaker to the Pistons. So if a miracle happens and the Pistons go on this losing streak and you go on this winning streak and you're tied with them at the end of the season, well, the Detroit Pistons, by winning tonight, they just won that tiebreaker. Right? And MSG is your 6th man, as we all know. You want as many home games in that building as possible. I know it's early, right? I know it's early, so I'm not the one to scoreboard watch into February. But let's keep it real. You lost the tiebreaker tonight. These games count. They matter. Right? I know we won three games in Detroit last year, so it really doesn't matter. But, yeah, this is a different Detroit team. Last year's last year. right? And give Detroit credit, man. They got smacked by Washington yesterday, and they come out like a team insulted. They're now 7-1 on back-to-backs, which is incredible, right? That tells you everything about who they are. They're physical, right? They dare the officials to call a foul on every single possession, by the way. From start, you could tell this game was going to be physical. And honestly, they look like us from like 2 seasons ago, right? The iHeart team with Dante, and they have an identity. They're tough, man. They're gonna be the team that you got to get through at the end. I still do think the Knicks will get through them. They got a young player in Jenkins there that's really good, right? So this kind of felt, look, the Knicks kind of laid this one out. This kind of felt like a reset game for the New York Knicks, coming off a double overtime win against the Denver Nuggets, right? The bodies are tired. The emotions are drained. And then you lose Karl-Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby right before tip. Ugly offense in that first quarter. You could tell the legs just weren't there. They just didn't have the juice. And Detroit made sure you felt every single bit of it. So, disappointing, but also informative, right? So just let the bodies recharge, learn from it. And these games matter, even when they don't feel like they do yet. I just talked about the tiebreaker stuff. So, hey, now you're number 3 in the East, and you got a Boston team on Sunday that hopefully you can get Alvarado out there, and hopefully, Josh Hart now got to deal with his injury, and hopefully he's okay. And you didn't want to lose anyone else in this game, and it seems like Josh Hart was nursing that ankle. But, it's, that was my little opening about this one. And, I just kind of emotionless, but I just wanted to get you guys that information that, look, these games do matter in the standings. And, you reset, come back on Sunday, and hopefully you can get a bolt of jolt from Alvarado. So, once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Knicks lose 80-118. Got the box score on the screen. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Shout out to the members. Dis Rover in here to El Figgy. El Figgy says, you could tell from tip-off we didn't really care. Yeah, it's like, I didn't think we were going to win. Exactly. I didn't think we were going to win, but I didn't think we were going to get smacked again. This game, I think, was like a 1.5 point spread before the game with all the injuries, right? And look, I just worry about the home court advantage in the playoffs, right? It is February. It is still early, but I don't know how many more games we have against the Celtics, but if they beat us on Sunday, I believe we have one more after that against them. They'll have the edge too, right? So you kind of want to be careful here. I want home court for at least the first 2 rounds. When we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, cool. But I want Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, right? That's where my mind goes. This was a throwaway game. Maybe the Knicks don't care about that stuff, but the Pistons play. I mean, they're really good, man. This is not the Pistons of last year. I'll tell you that. This is not the Pistons of last year, man. And look, I know everyone can point to the losses last year in the regular season, and they don't really convert to the playoffs, but it's a new season. It's a different season, right? But, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Ujo says atrocious scoreboard. Yep. He said, yeah, still hurts to lose to the Pistons like that. Yeah. Look, I had Pistons in my mentions on X, and talk your talk, man. You beat us by, what? I don't even know, 70 plus combined points. Probably even more than that. 60, I don't even know. In the first couple of matchups. And look, making all the excuses. They're on a back-to-back too. But look, the Pistons are 22-6 at home. I think now this loss, the Knicks are now 500 against teams that are over 500 for the year. And you could tell in that first quarter, look, Brunson started like one of 11, if I'm not mistaken. Finished with 420, 0 of 8 from 3. They had him in hell. They had him in shackles. He couldn't get anywhere. He couldn't do anything out there. They weren't falling for his pump fakes. They weren't falling for any of that. It's like they kind of know how to defend him. And look, he attempts 20 field goals, gives you 4 assists. Bridges was, the lone bright spot in this game. If you want to have a bright spot, he opens up the game with, a couple of threes, and you're like, okay, let's go, Mikal. And 19 on 7 of 16, but Hart just didn't have it. Mitch, 3 rebounds. They were doing a hell of a job boxing him out. Diawara, 4 points. I mean, ugly game. Ugly game. They laid an egg, and look, that double overtime took a lot out of them. It did. But I'm hoping that on Sunday we can get the troops back with Alvarado and actually get back on track. Because again, like I said, you lose to Boston on Sunday, that means you are 2 full games behind them, right? If I go to the standings, they win tonight. You are a game behind Boston. So you don't want to, this is what I was talking about. Is like the Knicks were winning, but these teams behind them were winning as well. Boston was keeping up with us. Cavs were winning, right? The 76ers were winning us. So it's like the Knicks had this 8-game winning streak, and thank God they had this 8-game winning streak because, boy, I mean, they didn't even like separate themselves. Like that's how crazy the East is right now. They didn't really separate themselves a lot from Cleveland, Toronto, Boston jumped ahead of you with the 8-game winning streak. So, that's my only concern. Yeah, Jenkins is really good, man. Jenkins, he's on a 2-way. I know they're gonna probably sign him for the rest of the season, but that Jenkins kid on Detroit was killing the New York Knicks tonight. He is really freaking good, and they're deep. Obviously, they're well coached, and we got them again in a couple of weeks in the Garden. So I want a revenge tonight, but man, a weekend where I was looking forward to, right? It's like, yeah. D-Dot says, hopefully we bounce back on Sunday in Boston. Hopefully. Appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Knicks lose 80-118. Bruh. Haven't played that sound in a while. Without Cat spacing on the floor, Jalen struggles. Yeah, Cat and OG, man. OG's been phenomenal. Now he's dealing with a toe. Hopefully he's okay. Cat was wearing sunglasses at the end of the bench. Hopefully he's okay. And I kind of think that this was like predetermined. Cat got that gash on his eye. You don't know if that swelled up. Detroit plays physical. So they're going to target that dash on Karl-Anthony Towns' eyes. So the Knicks are just playing it safe. The 82, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Yes, you wanted to beat the Pistons. Yes, they win the tiebreaker now. You are, 5.5, well, essentially 6.5 behind them. Look, I said the 1 seed is obtainable, but with them winning the tiebreaker today, you still got a lot of games left. Who knows? We'll see. But this one stunk. This one stunk. I don't know. I just don't. No, I just had once the Pistons got up by 15 in the second quarter, third quarter, I'm just like, oh, all right. Like this one just had I lost all of the juice in this game when Cat and OG were rolled out. And yes, they didn't have Duren. You've now played them twice without him, right? And he's a big part of their team. They just look like they want to kick our ass at all times, right? They look like they play with a chip on their shoulder every time they play us. And I know for a fact that they're going to want to play us in the playoffs, right? And the Pistons are really good, man. There's a reason why they're number one in the East. They've showed us there's a reason why. We have a big enough sample size to, like, they're different than Cleveland, in my opinion, of last year. Like, when Cleveland was winning 66, what did they win, 60-something games? We were all like, yeah, I mean, we'll see it in the playoffs. We'll see. I mean, they fold like cheap suits in the playoffs, man. Now, Detroit, this looks legit. So, but the playoffs are a different animal. So, we'll see. We'll see. New York Sports on X says losing by 15 and 20 while hurt, okay, but 40, come on, man. Yeah, that fourth quarter was bad too. Yeah, I get it, guys. I get it. Like, this was a bad game, and it's not the game you want coming off an 8-game winning streak. Again, even though the New York Knicks were down Cat and OG, this was only like a 1 or 2 point spread prior to the game. So Vegas thought that this was going to be a close game, but damn, 8 and a 118, man. You know, yeah. I mean, the head of the snake didn't have it in Brunson, and, you know, they just took him out of his game, and no one else had it besides Mikal. Nobody. They couldn't score. They hit 8 of 33 from 3, 24%. 22 assists, 25 boards. I mean, nasty game. But again, like this is the kind of issue with doing these things after every game of the season. It's like, I'm not overreacting whatsoever. But that's why I brought up the tiebreaker stuff, because of that's where my mind goes. That's what I'm looking at. If I'm a Knicks fan, that's what I'm concerned with. Is that stuff. Because I want as many games in Madison Square Garden as possible in the playoffs. So, yes, the Pistons are number one. They're probably going to finish there. But if we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, they have home court. You know? And you never know, right? So that's where my mind goes. The Knicks are going to be fine, right? Alvarado, you heard Coach Mike Brown speak highly about him before the game, so he's definitely going to play a lot. And the Deuce injury sucks. It does. But we got not good news, but Ian Begley said prior to their game that it's looking like a 6 to 8 week recovery time. So that leaves him to return like in the beginning of April. And at that point, you might as well hold him out to like the end of April to the playoffs. So I think he's going to have plenty of time to recover. And I actually think we're going to get him back. So that's really positive, in my opinion. Like, I didn't think that we were going to get him back at all, but we'll see, right? We'll see. These things link, like, it's a bad injury. We'll see how he, reacts when he gets to that 6 to 8 week mark, but we'll see. Woody says, are we really scared of Detroit? I'm not scared of Detroit, but I'm going to recognize that they are a legit team, and they are a different team than they were last year. From what I've been seeing of them, right? They're a different team. They're deeper, man. They just have an identity. They've built a team that resembles their city, like kind of like us. And look, I just, tip your cap to them. They got Cade. He gives you 7 assists, 11 points. Look how deep their team is. Dennis Jenkins, 18 off the bench, 7-11, 3 of 6 from 3. I mean, they did like 8 points here. I mean, that's fourth quarter garbage time. LeVert, Javonte Green, Holland, Reed. I got Reed hitting threes, man. Asar Thompson was playing great defense tonight. Cade, Stewart. I mean, you look, they're good. Yeah, Woody. That's what I said opening up this pod. They are like us 2 years ago. That's what they remind me of. You know, rematch in 2 weeks though. Let's see how the Knicks respond. Like I at some point, I at least want to beat them. That's the only matchup left this season in Madison Square Garden in 2 weeks. You can't get beat by 30 again. Then it's like, oh, like, what's going on here? Right? So, buzzer beater, what's going on? Salute. Salute to every single one of you guys in the chat. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff, all the logistics. If you guys want to call in, hit the Discord. It's pinned up in the chat. Once again, the New York Knicks get demolished 80-118. Opened up about, the Celtics winning and not really being concerned about this one. But now the Knicks find themselves in the third seed in the Eastern Conference, and that's where my focus goes. So, yes, they're just coming off an 8-game winning streak, but they didn't really gain any ground, right? Because the teams behind them were winning as well. They were keeping up pace. So, thank God for the 8-game winning streak. Now, okay, you hop on a plane, you go to Boston, you reset, you get Alvarado in the mix. Hopefully Josh Hart is okay. That's another thing. These ankle injuries, these injuries now are starting to get annoying, right? Hart, you could tell Josh Hart is not fully healthy. He's not fully back. And now you got OG with the toe, Cat with the eye thing. Not serious stuff, but it seems like it's the year of like always something this year. It's the year of like always something. So, yeah. Let's hit some of your comments. Mac Jean says Deuce got to get his feet wet. Can't hold him into the playoffs. Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck? No one went for 20 plus points tonight. Yeah, man. I mean, you look at this box score. No one on the Pistons had 20. I mean, Dennis Jenkins had 18. And no one on the Knicks had 20. Mikal had 19. Ugly. Ugly on the Knicks side. That's what Detroit is they share that rock, man. They play as a unit. They play as a team. Joe says, very depressing loss. Joel is upset. Oh, man. Yeah, why did Josh decide to play? He was doubtful to play tonight. No, he was questionable. Then I think he got upgraded before. Was he doubtful? These guys are competitors, right? I'm sure Josh Hart wanted to win this game, right? These guys are competitors, but that would have been like if you would have been out Hart, Cat, and OG. That's tough, but I'm sure Josh Hart wants to play all the time. Like, these guys are competitors, and he wanted to play. I'm not gonna hold him to that. I'm not gonna like get mad at that. I don't look. He left the game. He didn't return. I'm hoping that it's just precaution. We'll see if he's out there on Sunday, but he's not fully healthy. So, he's not fully healthy. Such an odd game. Yep. Elfie says, remember when we played the Pacers 2 years ago and everyone went down? OG, Josh, Jalen, Mitch, Bogdanovich, no Randall, and Dante scored 40 plus that game. We won't have a guy like that anymore. Oof. Yeah, I remember that game. That's the thing that if you want to point at anything, it's like you lost by 38, man. Like, it's one thing to lose by 8, 6. They make a run in the fourth. But 38, like, I just want to throw this away. I do. I don't want this to compile like Sunday. Let's nip this in the bud. Let's win on Sunday. Because if you lose on Sunday, now you're like, okay, the weekend that we were looking forward to, Yeah, you're without OG and Cat versus Detroit. You know, you lose on Sunday, and it's like, then now you're 2 games back of the Celtics. You're in the 3rd seed. Come on. But I don't think that's the case. I think the Knicks are going to get back on track on Sunday. They were playing really well, obviously. And tonight was just like, hopefully it's one of these games in the next couple of weeks where we don't even think about it. Right? It kind of was like the Knicks looked at this one and was like, guys are banged up. Let's not give it our all. Like, you know, obviously you don't want to think like that, but that's what it seemed like. It's just no juice in this one. Like, it sucks because Friday night, here I am talking about the Knicks losing by 38. Lost by 38. Dash Quota says, I'm going to be at MSG Tuesday to better win against the Pacers, of course. Come on, they got to win them against the Pacers. Come on now. Come on now. OG sat out for torn soreness. Look, it's a marathon, not a sprint, ladies and gentlemen. Vantina on X says, oh, we want y'all. Believe that. I'm assuming he's a Pistons fan. Hey, bring it. Bring it. I'm sure you guys want some revenge for what happened to you last playoffs. I'm sure. Like, if the roles were flipped, I would feel the same way. But Knicks fans' mindset right now is just like, let's get to the playoffs healthy. Let's be preferably the 2nd seed. We're good. We just got Alvarado. Let's implement him in the system, and let's go. And you look forward to these marquee matchups like in February, and, you know, March is a tough schedule for this Knicks team. It's 82 games. It's a long season. But I'm ready. I hope we face you guys in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? I hope. But if the Knicks keep falling back in the East, like right now they're 3rd, we very well might face you guys in like the 2nd round or something like that. So that's why, like, let's get back on track on Sunday, guys. Let's get back on track on Sunday. Joel says, I would have been fine with 15-20, but 38 is too much. They all count the same, but I get it, Joel. I get it. They all count the same, though. I get it. You know, you didn't. This was a bad game, man. I mean, they shot 35% from the field, ladies and gentlemen. 35% from the field. 8 of 33. The defense took a step back, right? I mean, but again, they had a really hard fought double overtime game in the Mecca against Denver, right? And you're saying to yourself like, but the Detroit Pistons played yesterday against the Wizards and they got smacked, which is weird. That's what makes the NBA so weird. Pistons lose to the Wizards, then turn around the next night on a back-to-back and smoke the Knicks by 38. The NBA, man, it just makes no sense. 11 fast break points, 34 points in the paint, 2 technical fouls. One of them was on Mitch and Paul Reed, a double tech. I didn't think that was a tech on Mitch at all. Mitch was just reacting to Paul Reed. Paul Reed just wants to get under it, you know, his skin, our skin. Cool. But, you know, this was over from, honestly, the end of the first quarter. This was a wrap, you know, and it sucks because I was looking forward to this one. I was. That's the NBA, folks. Ass whooping Skills TV. What's going on, Skills? Just Rover says, missed too many open looks tonight from 3. Once Brunson saw that his shot wasn't falling, though, like, what did he attempt today? 20 shots, and he was inefficient as heck. A bad Brunson game. Again, bad Brunson game. But, like, besides Mikal, nobody else was showing up. Nobody. So, JV says if Deuce was here, we would have kept this close. Oh, Joe says we cannot afford multiple losses for these last games. Woody says tricky Detroit. They got smoked by the Wizards G League team last night. Yeah, it's crazy, man. This rower says Adam Silver made the call. Yeah, man. So again, I opened up this with obviously no one's panicking here, right? No one's panicking. You're 33-19. You've been absolutely incredible lately. You've been playing great basketball. You've won a streak, just coming off an 8-game winning streak. But great win versus Denver. But again, 2 weeks ago, I had this weekend circled, right? I didn't think, oh no, OG Anunoby and no Cat were going to play in this game. That sucks, but you're 0-2 against Detroit, and both of these losses, they've smacked you in the mouth, right? So they've knocked you out, right? You haven't even lasted 2 rounds. They've knocked you out, right? They see you on the schedule and they're striking. So you're 5.5 games behind Detroit, really 6.5. Again, they won the tiebreaker tonight. So because you only have one more game remaining against them. Right? Again, if you tie with them at the end of the season, they get the 1 seed. That's at this point, I think that's not likely, but I think it's good information to get out to you guys. The Celtics have won 5 straight games. They just keep winning. I understand it, but my mind can't wrap my head around it. They've won 5 straight. They are 8-2 in their last 10. They are 34-18. They are now a game in front of you. And that's what we play on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off, by the way. Newsflash, in case you guys don't know, because of the Super Bowl. So, 12:30 game. Jose Alvarado, it was announced that he's wearing number 5, GTA 5. I love that nickname. Look out for the Jose Alvarado shirts coming really soon on the Knicks Nation shop on the website. I have Connor designing those as we speak. So those are going to be fire. I already saw a sneak peek. So, yeah, man, you look at the schedule, the Cavs, we'll see how they look with Harden, but they're not too far behind you as well. And you got the Cavs coming up shortly as well. It's going to be an interesting stretch here. You want to be careful, right? Thank God for the 8-game winning streak after losing 9 out of 11, right? But you got Boston, Indiana, Philly, Detroit again, Houston, Chicago. How about Gershon dropping 15 points yesterday? He started. He's on a bad team. He's going to get used. He's going to get his stats up. They lost, by the way, but I thought that was funny. At Cleveland. So you want to be careful here. I don't want the Knicks to fall. I don't want them in the 3rd seed. Preferably, I would want them in the 2nd seed. I don't want them in the 3rd seed. Even though I know I have faith that this team can win on the road in a big game. I do. But again, I would like that game in Madison Square Garden. Right? I would like that game in Madison Square Garden. I'm not going to like that game in Boston or Detroit, game 7. I'm not going to like that game. I would feel more confident if that game was like in MSG. So you want to be careful here. Yes, it's a long season. You got a lot of season left. You got a lot of runway left, right? But you're getting down to it, right? I mean, you got 4 games left until the All-Star break. And then before you blink, it's March. Right? So, and March is a tough sched. It's a tough sched. So, yeah, you got Boston twice. So, we lost to them on December 2nd in Boston, right? We beat them the second game of the season. So, we're 1-1 against them now. So, if there was a tiebreaker, we would have to that's why I want to win on Sunday, because I want to win this tiebreaker. Now I'm looking at that's where my mind goes. I'm looking at tiebreakers now, which is like, it's just stupid, but it's February. But I just want to see this Knicks team play well against the Celtics on Sunday with Alvarado, and let's get back on track, is what I'm saying, right? So, El Figgy says, I'm jealous of Detroit's bench for sure. Yeah, Detroit got a look, they play together. Everyone knows their role. Everyone knows their mission. They have built a culture over there. They have built an identity over there. They have an identity. Again, it reminds me of us like a couple of seasons ago with iHeart, and with iHeart, Dante, and, Randall was hurt, but OG, it reminds me of that team. Then we just started dropping like flies. Right, Bogdanovich gets tripped and he's out for the season. So, yeah, man. JV says, how about the 4th seed after the Cavs? Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Let me pull up the standings again. Cavs played? No. Cavs didn't play tonight. Look, I'm going to the Cavs schedule. They're at Sacramento. Sacramento has lost like 9 straight games or something like that. So that should be a win for them. I'm not sure if they're getting their guys, Harden. And then at Denver, and then look at like Washington, Brooklyn, Charlotte has been playing really well. OKC without Shea. Then us. So, look, bad game. You flush it, hop on a plane, reset, get your body right. The guys didn't play in the 4th quarter. They need the rest. The Knicks have been playing a lot lately. I believe this was the 3rd game in 4 nights or something like that, right? So they've been playing a lot, but with travel, they had a back-to-back versus Washington, Denver. Yeah, so then the first against the Lakers. So, look, move on to Sunday, right? Super Bowl Sunday. Let's get back on track. Let's reset the minds. Let's reset the bodies. Let's get our bodies right. Let's get Alvarado in there. Then let's get the juice back. Let's get the juice back, and I feel like it will come back. Prime game next time we play the Pistons again. Yep. February 19th, Thursday, February 19th. Pistons in Madison Square Garden. Come on. You need to replicate the smackling. It's like you need to smack them. You need to beat them by 38 now. They've had our number this year. There's nothing more I can say. They look really good. They're a really good basketball team. We're a really good basketball team, which is why I don't really understand it, but they play with a chip on their shoulder every time they face us. So, Elfie says, we didn't lose tonight because of bad officiating, but when did they call ticky-tack fouls on us and let everything go on them? It affects how... I even wrote this down. I said the Pistons play defense daring the officials to call a foul every time. Right? And the referees are not going to call a foul every time. They're not. We saw a lot of grabbing, a lot of holding on Jalen Brunson tonight. That's the way they play. They're not that's how it's going to be in the playoffs too. That's how it was last year in the playoffs. They let a lot go. And the Pistons know that, And it sucks because, yes, Jalen Brunson's undersized and whatnot. And does he get the crappy end of the stick a lot? Yeah. But does he get his fair share of calls? Yeah. But against the Pistons, right, they had him in jail tonight. So they dare the officiating crew to call a foul on every play, and they're not going to do that, right? Tonight was a game where you would have thought, like, okay, this is how it's going to be called in the playoffs. And the Knicks are prepared for that. This is not new to them. They know how to play these games, these types of games, right? The Knicks are prepared. They got the guys, and you're bringing in another guy who's a scrappy and a hell of a defender as well, and Alvarado, who I think will help tremendously with our physicality, our toughness. Just a great trade for Leon. And hopefully he can be out there on Sunday, and let's get it going. I'm excited to watch Jose play. I thought he was going to play tonight, but they didn't get the physical done in time, and there's probably too much travel, so he probably will meet the Knicks in Boston. I don't know why I said Boston like that. Boston. And hopefully he's playing on Sunday. Joel says, hope they brush this one off and go win on Sunday. We need that game. Elfrika says they had Jalen in jail because they don't have to guard Mikal or Josh, put OG and Cat out there, and it spreads their defense. It does, but they were playing extra physical with him tonight. They were. They were trapping a little bit, but they were playing physical out there tonight. And Jalen Brunson, look, he's fine. He's just coming off his best game of the season, right? The double overtime win against the Nuggets, when everyone was there, OG, Cat. You just get the guys healthy, right? Let me see if anyone has spoken. Once again, shout out to you guys. Happy Friday. Shout out to you guys watching on X or on YouTube. Most of you guys are on YouTube. I'm trying to see if we can get some quotes. All right, we got one quote. James Edwards says, Mikal thought the issue was the transition defense tonight. No update on Josh Hart other than it was his right ankle. Mike Brown says, defensively, I thought our physicality was there. Also credited Detroit's second unit and defense in limiting threes. Mike Brown's taking ownership here. He says, got to give the Pistons credit. They kicked our behinds, starting with me. Thought the team didn't play fast against Detroit, and, quote, you have to against their defense, end quote, moving the ball quickly. Yeah, and that's another thing. Alvarado will allow this Knicks team to play faster, too. Right? The gravity that Mike Brown was speaking about, Alvarado, his shiftiness, his quickness. Mike Brown was talking about the Knicks being a spray, they love to spray the basketball, and Alvarado will fit right in that mold. So I think Alvarado's going to play a lot, guys. I do. And I'm going to be interested to see what lineups they implement him in. Right? This Rover says, problem is we can't move the ball quickly. We have. I mean, it hasn't always been pretty in the 8-game winning streak, but their offensive rhythm has been way better, right? And it helps when OG's shooting lights out and, Brunson dropping a 40, damn near a 40-point triple-double, but, it has been better. Wow, how about this Bulls-Hornets trade amended after the Kobe Wright trade after the physical showed White had a left calf injury? Wow. Yeah, guys, just look, go out there and win on Sunday, and let's get this bad taste out of our mouth, and let's get back on track on Sunday, because you don't want this thing to keep. You don't want this losing streak. You don't want to like have another losing streak, is what I'm saying. You don't, right? You want to go out there on Sunday. You want to beat Boston. You want to beat Indiana. You're at Philly again. And you got Philly, Detroit. So, guys, 3 out of your next 4 games, right, are against teams that might be there in your way. Well, definitely will be there in your way in the playoffs. Boston, Philly, Detroit. And you had Detroit tonight. So you got Detroit again on February 19th. And then Houston comes into town. And they're a really good team, right? At Chicago, where you can probably put down Yabusele for like 25 on like 4 threes. So, look, let's get back on track. Let's get Alvarado back in the mix. And hopefully it's all about health right now. You got to worry about Josh Hart. You got to worry about Cat. And you got to worry about OG. Hopefully these are not long-term injuries because of the magnitude, obviously, of them. But Deuce McBride is out for the majority, for pretty much the whole season. And we got semi-good news on that front tonight. But, you know, it's one of those years where it's just like, it seems like in terms of the injuries, it's like, damn, it's always something, right? And look, maybe this is pre-planned, right? You wanna, you know, if these guys have something bothering them or bugging them, last year these guys probably would have played tonight, right? Last year, Karl-Anthony Towns probably would have played tonight. OG Anunoby probably would have played tonight. So, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It starts on Sunday. Let's start another winning streak. Chris says, Yabu, we look to have a revenge game versus the New York Knicks. Yeah, he will. El Figgy says, without Deuce, Jose will see minutes. Yeah, he's going to see a lot of minutes. I think he's going to be around 20 minutes a game. I do 18 to 20 minutes a game. Apparently James Dolan was in the building in Detroit. Stephen Bonnie says James Dolan arrived in Detroit and left his baseline seat before the 4th quarter. Why is James Dolan randomly in Detroit? It has to be about business. Or maybe he wanted to watch this game because it was a big. I was looking forward to this game. Maybe James Dolan, the owner, was looking forward to this game too. I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, if I was the owner of the team and I cared about the team, I'd travel with him. Maybe he's probably in Detroit for business, but who knows? I don't know. But I think it's random that James Dolan's in Detroit right now. It had to be that he's a business venture, right? 10-0 says, I would have left earlier. Beat the traffic, man. Beat the traffic. This was Mike Brown on Jose Alvarado. He just brings a level of toughness to the team. His energy is unmatched. What he can do defensively in the full court and even in the front court on the ball, especially on pick and rolls and stuff like that, is at a pretty high level. He shoots it better than most people think. We want to play fast, and we believe he's a guy who will come in and push the pace. Gets us into our offense and all that other stuff because he is quick. He's got a low center of gravity. Been around for a while. He'll touch the paint and make others better. So we're a big spray team, and he should be good in that area too. So excited to have him. Jose Alvarado hopefully will be with the New York Knicks on Sunday against the Boston Celtics. That'll be a nice little coming out game. Hopefully we can get a win in that one. Wow, the Heat. So the Heat were winning by, they were winning by like 25 and they lost. All right, this is from Jeremy Otto. If you guys, want to look into this game more. Brunson shot just 20% tonight. That is a season low. His previous low was 26% against the Lakers February 1st. It was his worst shooting performance since 2023. Only third time this season he did not make a three. One of Jalen Brunson's worst games tonight. But again, it's like he's human. Newsflash. He bleeds like all of us, right? I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it, honestly. I mean, we just witnessed greatness against Denver. So I'm cool with it. We know how he is against the Pistons in the playoffs, so he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Trying to see if I can get some more information for you guys regarding anything, some quotes. Once again, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the members in here. El Figgy says, when are the Knicks going to snuff someone for getting knocked around Sunday when Alvarado's on the team? That's why the first sentence that Mike Brown said was he brings toughness. Right? He recognizes it. Alvarado may be small. They have him listed at 6 foot. He's small, but he plays big. That's why they brought Alvarado in here. For that reason. So, look, they lost by 38. I don't think they should have looked this bad. But at the end of the day, they got Boston on Sunday. Another opportunity to beat an Eastern Conference team that's ahead of you right now in the standings. Right? So, I would like to see them bounce back on Sunday. If Boston just came back and gets the Miami Heat tonight, they win. So now they jump a full game ahead of you. Man, it's crazy how this East is shaping up. Knicks win 8 straight. Here you are thinking that they're gaining ground. And, they are, look, they still have the 4th best record in the league. Well, now the 5th best record in the league, if I'm not mistaken. No, 6th best record in the league. 6th best record in the league. Celtics are now the 4th best record in the league. Look, it changes, seems like, every day, and you want to win tomorrow, so you get back ahead of them, right? You don't want to fall 2 games behind Boston, right? I know 2 games with like 20 plus games left. That's nothing. That's very much doable, but you don't want to keep falling behind these teams, and then you're looking at a second round matchup, and you don't have home court advantage. Right, so and then you got Cleveland on your tail, right? They're 2 games behind you, and you got them in like a week or so, right? So let's get this boat back on the right track, right? Let's win on Sunday. Let's get our guys back. They got an extra couple of days to rest. Alvarado got an extra couple of days to rest, and hopefully Josh Hart is okay. And then Sunday we go get him. Right? Different story. Like, I'll be singing a different tune on Sunday, right, if we lose. But right now, I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, it's Pistons have kicked their ass twice. I didn't like the way it looked at all. But at the end of the day, they're a really good team. I said that, they're the only team that I'm really like, I'm not nervous about them, but they're a good team. They're number 1 in the East for a reason. They're not the same team as last year, for sure. And they want to kick our ass, man. We sent them home last year. They didn't win a home playoff game against us. So they're out for blood. They're out for revenge. So let's come back on Sunday and let's get this thing back on track, because you don't want to extend this, losing streak. You don't. But, yeah, the East is just, look, you're 33-19. Man, even the Sixers are 3.5 games behind you. Like that's the only like I'm fine with where the Knicks are at right now. I think they'll be good. I think we'll be okay, and I think ultimately when it's all said and done, I do think we'll be the second seed in the East. But like the separation between New York and Toronto and Philly, it's too close. It's too close for my liking. Right? Again, it's still early, man. Um, like you got 21 games left, right? You played 52 games. So you have 30 no, you have 30 games left. You have 30 games left. So 30 games left, and look, still plenty of runway. Still plenty of runway. So once again, shout out to the chat. Tanzir says, I pray Josh is okay and have him ready after the All-Star break. Oof. Yeah. I wouldn't mind if Josh Hart sat until after the All-Star break. I wouldn't mind that. Speaking of All-Star break, it sucks because I really thought Deuce McBride was going to be an All-Star weekend for the three-point competition. He probably definitely would have got invited. Right? And it sucks that we're not going to see him, but Joel says, and people still say the East is weak. Yeah, the East isn't weak. Like there's a lot of like pain in the ass teams that will be there in the end. Like if you get matched up against it's looking like if you get matched up against the Cavs in the second round or the Celtics in the second round, like it's not going to be easy. Like obviously we're still going to pick the Knicks, clearly, but there's still going to be some people on the outside be like, no, I think Cleveland got a shot. I think Philly got a shot. I think Boston has a shot. And obviously, it's everyone picking against the Knicks. But, I just think once the Knicks are playing at their A game, I still do consider them the best team in the NBA. But I am giving the respect to the Detroit Pistons because 2 times this year they have kicked their ass and they have looked great in doing so. So, yes, Knick fan, me is saying that I think the Knicks are the best team in the East, but Detroit is right there. If it's not 1A, it's 1B. Like, I don't think there's a huge gap between the Knicks and the Pistons. I don't even think there's a gap at all. I think these teams are even. So, but it depends on the momentum, like how you play the playoffs, the momentum, the injuries take a toll. Like you don't know. You can't predict the future. But there's not a big gap between what we thought was going to be Cleveland and the Knicks, but now it's the Pistons on top of the East, right? The Celtics and the Knicks, is there a big gap between the Celtics and the Knicks? Or would you guys consider the Celtics on par with us? I don't consider the Celtics on par with us, even without Jason Tatum. I still do think the Knicks are a bump over them. Cavs, I don't know how this new iteration of their team is going to look. I think the Knicks are better than them too. 76, no, it's just the Pistons. We're eye to eye with the Pistons. Eye to eye against the Detroit Pistons, right? So, we'll see. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to every single one of you guys in the chat. Happy Friday. I will be back on Sunday, 12:30 p.m. game. Once again, shout out to you guys. Thanks for the support as always. It's always Let's Go Knicks. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you guys continue supporting the Knicks Nation channel. I really do appreciate it. Follow on socials at Knicks Nation, on X at Knicks Nation as well. If you guys wanted to become a member, I will be posting more. I post more members only content for you guys. I do, the analytics stuff, and the support is very well welcomed. If you guys just want to support the channel, it goes a long way. I really do appreciate every single one of you, honestly. Or you guys can just be in a chat, man. Everyone has a voice here. I don't just answer the super chats, man. I answer to every single one of you guys. So you guys are awesome. And let's do this on Sunday. Let's get this thing back on track. on Sunday. So have a great night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm Anthony. I don't got the mic Breen ready. I never have the mic Breen ready. All right. Peace.
Brunson a three. Bang! Jalen Brunson does it again!